Please.
Hello, Andre. Can we start with the team news? Will Lennon, Defoe, and Walker be fit for this one?
They haven't trained with the team yet. They trained separately yesterday on the recovery from on a lighter session, basically on their own individually. We'll have to see today how they return. See if there's any disturbance. Lennon had a scan yesterday, and it's fine on his hamstring. We have to wait and see because I think today is an important day. It's been they had quite enough time to rest, to recover, and we have to wait and see if we are able to give them a session for today.
Any chance of you having Dembele back yet?
No, not for this game.
Stefan Freund's been saying that, in his view, Tottenham have now caught up with Arsenal. Do you agree that the balance of power has shifted in North London?
I think Arsenal at the moment have accumulated the recent amount of trophies, which is important, including Premiership champions. This is a step up. Is where we want to be in the future. I think recently they have obtained more Champions League qualifications. So, our objectives for the season too have been within their reach for the last couple of years. So I think we are certainly getting nearer in terms of what we are doing for the club. But I think the past shows us that at the moment they are more regular on obtaining those type of objectives.
Obviously, this is the big one for your fans. They all want to win this one. What sense do you get of how important this game is for this club?
I've been getting it for the last 2 weeks, to be fair. People have been speaking about it quite often in between us, staff and chairman. So you understand the importance of it. The voice out from the fans is, means that this is a game where passion is extremely high, and it's a game that represents 3 points, but in the league it represents more than that in the history of North London derbies.
Which team do you think, though, is under more pressure going into this game?
Well, I'm not sure. I think it's completely indifferent at this time of the season. Both teams are not where they want to be. Both teams have been where they want to be, but now the position in the league doesn't suit both teams. But I think both have shown that they can do better. I understand it like this. It's very, very early in the league. Last year we were a little bit better by this stage. Worst period came after, towards the end of the season. So it's too much time.
Stephen Caulker scored last night on his full debut for England. Were you happy that he played 75 minutes before a lunchtime kickoff on Saturday? What did you think of him, and what did you think of Zlatan as well?
Well, I can't do nothing regarding what they do in internationals. We just have to cope with it. A couple of them, Sandro made a big trip to the US, didn't play, returns. Ian played 90 minutes. Steven 75. It's not really nothing you can do. You just have to understand that at the moment the calendar is very, very tight, and you have to respect that. And see by speaking to the players how they feel towards the game. I think it was good to see Edelstone get back into the English national team, and happy for both to be up there, and for Tottenham in the end to feed so many players. Eventually 3 came back, but to feed so many players into the national side. On Zlatan, I think he continues to show moments of brilliance that are, they're not comparable to other players. He's a top striker in the world. I think he has played 10 and scored 10 in the league for Paris Saint-Germain. and his form in his country is impressive. So I think he's picking up that form that we saw in Inter Milan before he moved to Barcelona.
Best goal you've ever seen?
Well, awkward goal. I think the goals, goals come in various different forms, and this, this, it's really amazing to see. Not the best I've ever seen, but really amazing to see.
Can we ask you too about Hugo Lloris, who played for France last night against Italy?
Sure.
Didier Deschamps says basically he has to play more here to play for France. That's what he's implying. What do you say to Didier?
Yeah, but I can't mess around with Didier's selection. In the end, he's the French national team manager, and he does whatever he wants. And I do the same for my team. And you've seen me quite often respecting whatever other managers' selections. They have to choose. They are free, so I have no comment.
Is Lawrence on the bench though on Saturday?
No, I'm not sure. I mean, we have to make a decision. At the moment, he's not been training with us. He was away, so now he comes back to us, and we see.
Just finally, Andre, from me, this match last season was a 7-goal thriller, a really strange match. Can we expect anything similar, do you think, on Saturday?
It's always difficult. Last year when I played Arsenal, it was a 8 goals game. I think last year we saw some really amazing scores in the Premier League. Anything can happen, and that's the reality. Hopefully, it will be a good spectacle for the fans. But the fans from both teams will demand very, very highly, and we hope to come out with something.
Steve,
a little bit early in the day, Andre, but have you managed to speak to Steve Caulker about last night?
No, not yet. I'll let him return first.
How good do you think he can become?
Well, we don't want to put too much pressure on a player that we have high expectations. At the moment, he has won deservingly his place in the Tottenham squad, and he has done brilliantly. Played against the best strikers in the world, the Premiership, and in the Europa League against Lazio mainly. And he's been doing extremely well for us. So I'm pleased that he got the chance to be part of the national team. If it's a selection that is going to be kept, I'm not sure, because it depends on Roy's selections and the availability that he has of other central defenders. I'm more than sure that he can cope with it. He's been playing very, very well. Still has a lot to learn. Still has a lot to evolve. But he has made a breakthrough for Tottenham, and hopefully he can continue that way.
Joe Hart, the England keeper, has come in for a bit of stick for a couple of mistakes that he's made recently. Now, you've obviously got a glut of goalkeepers here. How important is it for a goalkeeper to feel that he's under competition for his spot in the team?
But I think Joe Hart is an extremely good goalkeeper. And I think he's very, very stable for the age that he has, and extremely good. What you're saying to me is a surprise, because this is a goalkeeper that I admire a lot. And for his age, he seems very, very competent in everything that he does, technically and tactically. So he's a goalkeeper that I really appreciate.
But do you think it's important for goalkeepers, at whatever level, to feel that they're under a bit of pressure from?
But I think competition is part of squads. So I think that is natural. Doesn't mean that there are certain individuals who prefer to develop without competition. Others that, by feeling the strain of competition, develop in a faster way. It really depends on the individual. But I think Joe has shown great strength of character to break at a young age into the national side, and to be fair, I consider him one of the best.
Andre, you mentioned Arsenal then and the task Tottenham have to catch them up. Have you been surprised that they're not higher up the league this season, considering the strong form they've had in previous years?
No, but I think it's completely irrelevant, because in the end of the season, we compliment them for what they achieved last season. So I think last season they had a poor beginning to the season, and managed to clinch third spot by obtaining points when the season gets decisive. So it's absolutely irrelevant to condemn, I think, people on a weekly basis when you drop 3 points, you are condemned. You win 3 points, and you are back there. This is the nature of how the Premiership behaves, particularly when it's so tight in the league for these spots.
But it's realistic. It's a realistic target for Tottenham to finish above them this season. Because
we have to. I mean, by what I see in the Premiership, it's obvious that Man United, Man City, and Chelsea are into a big running towards the title. We want to be able to bring one of those spots further nearer to us, but it's difficult. They have other resources, but we are looking at trying to shorten the gap and not letting it grow. To play for that fourth spot, Champions League qualification, I think it's difficult, bearing in mind the amount of competition that you have to beat to.
Is it possible to shorten that gap without the financial resources that Chelsea and Manchester City?
I think it's possible. I mean, and we had great games against all three of them. Games where we led against all of the teams. Eventually, we lost with two of them. But it's what is important is to gain regular points against these teams is extremely difficult. We've done it against United, but we want to do it better next time with City and Chelsea. But it's on the road with other teams that you might shorten the gap to.
You mentioned the chairman in the first part of this press conference. What did he say to you when you were talking to him about the derby then? Is it something he mentioned early on?
Yeah, he keeps on mentioning it.
Really? Yeah. Just this is the one you've got to win.
No, I think it's normal. I think it's part of the, and you really have to embrace it because it's part of, the great English culture of this game. I mean, playing against Arsenal for both teams means a lot. You can't wear red in a situation like this, fortunately, or in this training ground. So the meaning of it is quite special, and we all of us embrace it.
Okay, finally, from me, you said Dembele wouldn't be ready for this game.
Yeah.
Is it likely he might be ready for the European game, or are you considering surgery again?
There is a 50% chance. I think surgery at the moment is out of the question. Hopefully.
Okay, Paul, last couple, please.
Andre, do derbies feel different for managers?
I think so, yeah. I think so. Obviously I'm still very young in my coaching career. I haven't gone through a lot of these experiences. But I think, certainly when I was in Portugal, Porto Benfica was not a local derby, but it was the classical game of Portugal between the two top teams, and it's lived with the full passion, full emotion, big anticipation. People get ready to play a game like that. Not only your players, but what surrounds you. And I certainly felt it, this last weeks over here regarding this match.
Okay, guys. Steve, last question, please.
I understand, Andre, that football bosses are discussing wage caps today. How difficult do you think that would be to implement, and would it make your personal life quite easier if that was able to come in?
It's difficult. I mean, there's been discussions in the past regarding wage caps, which has never happened. I think most of the clubs, or particularly this one, incentivates more money through objectives, through reaching appearances, and you have to praise that. Most other clubs or a couple of clubs can opt for a specific wage and not things that are gained through objectives. I think is extremely difficult because you also want to have access to to the best players or to the best talent, and most of the clubs can have to get that talent. They can have one extra more money to convince them to join them. I think if the regulations change in that manner, can be something welcome, but I think it's very, very difficult to reach what kind of player can reach what.
Okay, guys. Thank you.